there in their navy blue tops, navy blue bottoms, white numbering, and silver outlining. Air Force in their traditional white tops, white bottoms. Silver numbering and blue outlining is Martinez with the first shot. That's nothing but nets. Ian Martinez averages just a smudge under 13 points a game. Gets the first two to get things started. Big thing for Air Force today will be get their offense going. Had a chance to talk to a couple of assistants, and one of the things that they mentioned was the importance of getting started off, and this is a good way to get it going. Beautiful pass and lay-in by Kalen Boylan. Boylan averaging just over 8 points a game. As you see Air Force coming out in a full court press. Want to use their length defensively. One of the top defensive teams in Mountain West play. Want to be able to go and get teams off schedule, especially a Utah State team that can score the ball well. Foslev with the drive, the floater, no good, too strong. And here comes Air Force with it, getting a stop. Utah State averaging 81 points a game. Air Force just allowing 65. But that 80-point mark is a very important mark for several different reasons for Utah State. They are 8-0 when they score 80 points or more. Beautiful pass again, and that'll be a foul. And going to the line to shoot two will be Boylan. So already you see just the way that the offense has been able to go and move. Beautiful pass there by Ethan Taylor to find Boylan for the second time. He's on a back screen, and Boylan will go to the line to shoot two. Keelan Boylan, a 6'7" sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas. 73% free throw shooter. And he's too long on the first one. Boylan played just 6 minutes total as a freshman. Now picking up those minutes is Boylan. He averages 35 minutes. So you go from just playing 6 minutes your freshman year to now 35. Got to go get those free throws taken care of as he misses both. And the score remains at 2 apiece early on in the first half. And a beautiful pass and lay in. And there's that guy, Great Ossobor, getting himself on the board as Utah State leads 4-2. Ossobor third in the Mountain West in shooting percentage. So anytime he gets near the cup, better believe it's going to go in. Beautiful head fake by Bo Becker. Missed the block though. 14 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time for Air Force. Beasley. Becker. Swinging around. Boylan. Now in the painting area. And losing the handle and out of bounds. And it will go off the hands of Jeffrey Mills. And Utah State will take over. We'll just see Ossobor just be able to get the layup and beautiful pass by Darius Brown. And that's something you're going to see a lot of. Darius Brown is a young man who knows how to get a whole lot of assists. He averages 7.6 assists a game. Loves to share that basketball. That's actually his 100th assist of the season. As the ball try to go to Ossobor, but good job defensively there is Air Force. Again, a key to this game for them is to be able to start off strong. Lost against Northern Colorado 83-79 right before the Christmas break. And one of the biggest things was not starting off fast. That three-point shot misses absolutely everything. Jeffrey Mills misses that one on opposite end. Foslev will get fouled in the offensive zone. They take a look just in transition, just the way that Utah State is able to go and push the pace. And with that, they'll go to the line to shoot two. So Mason Foslev, a redshirt freshman from Benson, Utah, averages just above 11 points a game as he knocks down the first one. Foslev, not the best free throw shooter. Came into this game as a 48% free throw shooter, 12 of 25. So he's now 13 of 26, and he knocks both home. So probably during the Christmas break was able to go and work on that. And Utah State off to a 4-point advantage over the Air Force Falcons, 6-2, with 17-10 to go in the first half. Falcons not shooting well so far, 50%, but haven't got a lot at the rim so far. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Becker with it, looking for a pass, gets it to the outside to Beasley. Down to Boylan, beautiful pass, and not able to convert at the cup is Beasley. Here comes Utah State. Quickly up court. Skip pass. Martinez thought about the three, takes it down at the elbow, floats that one up, and he gets the kind roll. 8-2, Utah State on top. as Air Force on a shooting drought hasn't scored the last 2:30. Utah State on a 6-0 run. Something that Air Force wanted to avoid was the slow start, as Ethan Taylor hasn't shot the ball yet. Becker with it. Moves it around. Becker, he'll spot up for three. And that's way too long. By the way, Regis Petrias, don't see him in the lineup. See if we get an update on reason why, and it looks like he'll come in. So Petrias will come off the bench, as we'll have a foul. And the foul will be on the floor against Keelan Boylan. So that would be on Boylan. That would be his second team foul. We talked about Petrias, and there he is, Regis Petrias. Started the last couple of games, missed the first 7 games with an injury, but what a beautiful pass by Brown, and it's knocked away. Tried to go and inbound the ball off the back of an Air Force Falcon. And there is Johnny on the spot, ready to knock that ball away. Let's see if that will spark the Falcons right now, who's down by 6. Becker with it. Beautiful back screen pass to Petrias. Shoots that one up and doesn't even touch rim. And with that, we will step aside. Falcons just shooting 25%, down by 6 early on against the Utah State Aggies. The little ones enjoying a new year, also with that beautiful Nugget swag I see right there. Look at that drip, huh? Utah State on top of Air Force 8-2 so far in this one. And Air Force needs to go and work on a couple of things on the court right now, struggling from the floor. 1 of 4 from the floor, just shooting 25%. Utah State, on the other hand, 3 of 5, shooting 60%. So the Falcons looking to go and speed up Utah State's offense. So they'll come out in the full court press, try to go and get a turnover or so. A couple of substitutions. As Doge started the game, he's now in. And kick it right down low, and that's going to be easy work right there. Great Osabor, able to dunk it home. Osabor with 4 points. It's a beautiful screen and roll. Able to go and find himself in the painted area. Nobody was there in a white jersey. Air Force looking down at an 8-point deficit. And losing the ball is Regis Petrias. You see Osabor able to go and catch the ball. And there's nobody there who's going to stop him. That young man, 6'8", 250 pounds, from Bradford, England. A transfer from Montana State. Really, really good size of that young man. Wants the ball in the paint. Will get it yet again. Double team. Spins his way. And a beautiful move with the left hand. And Utah State up by 10 on a 10-0 run. Osabor, he has recorded 6 double-doubles this season. Air Force needs to do whatever they can to go and stop this run, and the foul will be on the floor. It looks like that will be on Utah State. Foul on Josh Aduje. That's his second personal foul, I believe. And it will be, so he will have to go and sit down for a bit. Coming in for him will be Isaac Jackson. Check that, that's Javon Jackson that will come in. The ball goes to the backcourt. Air Force with the ball, shooting just 25%, and the Falcons haven't scored in almost 5 minutes. Got to get something rolling offensively. 4 seconds on the clock. Got to do something with it. Becker chucks up a 3. That rolls in and out, but right there for the putback. Able to lay it in is Jeffrey Mills. He'll go to the line for the and one opportunity. Beautiful box out by Mills. As you see, Becker missed the 3, and just with the right hand, able to go and position himself, is Mills, the junior from Flower Mound, Texas. And one more, and that's good. Makes the score 12-5. So that stops a 5-minute scoreless drought for Air Force. Looking to get themselves rolling as Martinez has it. Martinez, really impressive player, the senior from Costa Rica. He'll spot up for 3 and knocks it home, and he's fouled. Oh my. Definitely not something that you want to do. One of the biggest rules in basketball is not to foul the 3-point shooter, and it happened right there, Katie.
got to be a little bit more disciplined there when you're closing out to a shooter. And this is a team where you really got to know personnel. You got to be disciplined for Air Force.
Martinez with the and one, couldn't knock that one home. And once again, Air Force finds themselves down by 10. Falcons just shooting 33%, 2 of 6 from the floor. Utah State 6 of 8. It looks like they can get whatever shot that they want, so something that Air Force will have to go up and change defensively. A little bit surprised Ethan Taylor hasn't attempted a shot yet. Second in the team in scoring. Becker, he's not shy. Just a little bit too strong on that one. And here comes Utah State yet again, and they want to run. They average 81 points a game for a reason, but it's stolen away. Rita Petritis with the lay-in.
Petritis is so fun to watch as the Falcons get beat back.
Oh, how about this guy, huh? Great Osobor with the jam home. And Osobor, he has 8 points. Katie, you know you do a lot of Nuggets games. This is one guy that I look at that I say, look, he has an NBA body.
Absolutely.
Now, we'll see what happens with him. Was looking up a couple of mock drafts. You don't see him there. But if this young man can continue to improve, 6'8", man, there's a lot of teams that can use a big body like that.
Well, and he's a junior, so maybe he stays another year, gets a little bit more experience, and then some teams start to look at him. But you're absolutely right. He's got an NBA build. His game is so solid all the way around. He's a player that maybe could be a sleeper for some teams.
Yeah. Also has a great name. Great Osobor.
Seriously.
I mean, you cannot be a bad player with a name like that, right?
I feel like his parents must have named him like this man when he grows up.
Right.
He's going to be great.
Right.
So we're going to name him Great.
It's like Champ, right? Like
yes,
Champ Bailey, for example.
Exactly.
17-7's our score. By the way, foul on Utah State. Javon Jackson picks up his first personal foul. That's also the team fourth. Justin Adams, Katie Wingy here with you, and that's going to be a push. As Mills, that's Boylan rather, was pushed to the floor, and the foul be on Mason Falslev. Falslev, that's his first personal foul.
The Falcons are going to make the Utah State defense work, too. The duration of the shot clock, they're really going to work for a great shot every single time. So Utah State really has to focus in on defense and sit down for an entire shot clock possession.
Taylor, still without a shot. 7 seconds on the clock. That might change right here. Kicks it off to Rita Petritis, who will drive, and another foul on Utah State. So the foul's starting to pick up for Utah State. That's their 16th foul. We have 12:26 to go in the first half. And if there's a way that you want to get back into a game, going to the free throw line will be the best way of doing it.
Yeah, and Ryan Petritis is one of those players, Reese Petritis rather, is one of those players that he's going to attack. He's so quick off of his first dribble and does really good things for the Falcons in and around the basket.
Mills with it. Into the corner for Boylan. Beautiful pass to Petritis. How about that, huh? You talk about going and working the clock, also working those possessions, leads to an easy lay-in like that. 17-9's our score. Utah State still on top.
A little bit of full court pressure there from the Falcons, too, trying to mix some things up.
Might have been a little too tall, literally too tall. Isaac Johnson right there with the pass that goes off the bottom of the basket. Falcons get a much-needed stop. See if they can convert here with 11:50 to go in the first half. Petritis with the drive. Goes up against Johnson, and he'll get the harm. And that'll be the second foul on Johnson. Also the 17th foul on Utah State. So for the rest of the half, the Falcons will be living at the free throw line. But so far, so good for Utah State. Up 8 over the Falcons. 17-9's our score. Utah State on top of Air Force. Justin Adams and Katie Wingy with you. And Katie, you look at the way that Great Osobor is playing so far right now. He has 8 points, and a lot of those shots are really easy at the basket.
They have been. He's perfect from the field in this game so far, 4 of 4. And when it comes to defending a player like Osobor, you have to be disciplined. You have to be able to defend without fouling. But you also have to know that he's the go-to guy on Utah State. So it has to be a full collective team defensive effort if you're the Air Force to really make things tough for Osobor and slow him down.
So what would you do if you are Air Force? Obviously, you have a chance to go to the free throw line. Petritis will be shooting 2. You have 17 fouls on Utah State. So at worst, when you get fouled, you will have the 1-and-1. You got to convert your free throws, obviously, right there. But what are some things you would like to see Air Force do to just cut into this lead?
One of the things that Air Force should do getting to the free throw line now is stay aggressive. You can't settle for those outside shots, and that's something that they kind of like to do, is lull defenses to sleep, work a shot clock, towards the end of those shot clocks, drive. Try and get inside, get to the free throw line. And then defensively, too, you got to stay solid, make sure that you're closing the gaps against a really talented Utah State team.
Get this for Utah State. None of their starters from last year. Oh, what a pass. Are you kidding me? What a pass by great Osabor. My goodness, able to go and find Ian Martinez. Utah State up by 10. I mean, all the things you talk about there, I don't know if you could defend a play like that.
Well, you just have to have your head on a swivel and stay between your man and the basketball. And right there, getting beat back door defensively, obviously, that's not what Air Force wants.
Almost halfway through, always halfway home, rather, in the first half. And we still haven't seen Ethan Taylor take a shot as of yet. Actually, he has one shot attempt. On the opposite side, just throwing the ball up at the bucket. Nothing there, but anytime you can go and get the Rockets in the hands of number one, it's a good day. 21-9 our score. Osabor now with 10.
And Osabor just so physical, putting himself in a position to be successful around the basket to grab that rebound and find an easy look.
This guy has to wake up, and that's a good shot down the baseline there by Bo Becker. Had 26 points against Northern Colorado. Gets himself on the board with his first two.
Becker's a player that could really light it up for the Falcons, too. If he starts to get hot, man, can he fill it up.
And Osabor just making his home under the basket. Another dunk for great Osabor. Wonder if he has like any shot package so far. Maybe a jumper or anything from the elbow. Or here comes another steal. Utah State dunking it home. Mason Falslev with the jam. Utah State having their way on the road against the Air Force Falcons, up 14. Air Force trying to stop the bleeding. And that's a way to do it, as they'll go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. The Utah State shooting 79%. And you just see steals like this, easy scores. Makes it tough to stop them.
Yeah, Utah State, 8 steals a game. It's third in the Mountain West, and so they're an active defense. They want to get out, find easy way to scores by getting good stops and giving them a chance to run against a defense that isn't set.
Air Force with 4 turnovers, have to go and clean that up. Shooting the 1-and-1 and converting the first one.
But if you're Air Force and you feel Utah State start to get some momentum, again, like you mentioned, try and get to the free throw line. Blow the whistle, see the ball go through the hoop.
Boylan able to knock both home. 25-13 is our score. And that's what kind of one of the biggest things, too, is just to slow things down as much as you can. See if Air Force will go and settle into a zone. Crisp passing so far. Falslev with it to Jackson. Double team. Kicks it out. Wide open three. Just a little too long, but there goes Osabor to pick up another rebound. Jackson, he'll try from the left side and knocks it home.
Second chance opportunity there when you're playing a zone. If you're the Falcons, you have to make sure you turn and put a body on somebody and not just ball watch underneath.
Javon Jackson with his 8th three-pointer of the year makes this score 28-13. Petrides, what it take? Couldn't get the kind roll. Rebound. And be knocked out of bounds by Air Force. Jeffrey Mills could save that one.
Good look from Petrides right there. I think he thought he got fouled, but you see the Falcons battling for a second chance opportunity and unable to pull it in.
Joe Scott originally asking his team to go on pressure, and Osabor gets it easily, and he'll go to the line as he's fouled on that play by Bo Becker.
Look, it's tough enough when Osabor is the player that he is around the rim. You can't have defensive lapses like this if you're Air Force. That's just way too easy. Osabor making a great cut and the Falcons defense falling asleep.
How much does this have to do with the Christmas break? The time off, and understandably so. Both teams had time off. Utah State looking well so far on the court, but Air Force not as crisp as what we saw from them in non-conference play so far.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I remember when I was playing in college, the Christmas break happened so quickly as a player that you don't even really notice. It's great to get away and have some time with your families and all of that, but you don't get the same break the students get. You're right back, and you're at practice, and you're focused in on the game. So maybe a little bit of time to kind of ramp things back up. But this is a really good Utah State team that came ready to play from the get-go.
Believe it or not, this team was actually picked to finish 9th in the Mountain West. They're looking nothing like it right now. Looking like a team that's going to contend. That'll be a jump ball. That's a couple of big bodies right there. I think that's where Byron Brown wanted to be at, as he was tied up with Nigel Burris. By the way, Nigel Burris, just a sophomore at 6'7", 224 pounds. By the way, with Christmas break, play football at the University of Colorado.
Yep.
So one of our bowl games, we had practice actually on Christmas. Was the weirdest day ever in my life.
Weirdest Christmas day, I'm
Pretty
sure.
much. But how about that? Nothing weird about that. Regis Petritis with the dunk.
Petritis is so athletic. He has such great handles with the basketball, such a great feel for where he needs to be on the floor right there. A beautiful cut.
Let's go see a run here by Air Force. Maybe that'll get something sparked. Got to go and stop number 1 first. Foslev with it. He'll drive. Kicks it out. Jackson with the drive as well. Stops at the baseline. Skip pass in the corner. Foslev with a head fake. And yeah, that's a foul.
That was a pretty solid defensive possession from Air Force. Switching, covering up, having each other's backs. Right here, that's not so disciplined, jumping for that shot fake, but straight up the foul came from behind rather than the rule of verticality going straight up from the front.
And that's Luke Carney. You're going to see a lot from him. He's a freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. This young man played in 3 games so far this season. He's going to play a whole lot more as the Falcons are dealing with an injury to Corbin Green, who won't play today. So you talk about your backup center, you have to rely on the freshman, and that could be a little bit of some inexperience coming out. And also, you're excited. You're coming into the game. This is your 4th game that you're playing. Committing the foul in the first couple of moments as you're on the floor. For
sure. And I think the one good thing about the Air Force Falcons and maybe giving a younger player some opportunity is they're so versatile. They can switch 1 through 5. So the system stays the same regardless of who is on the floor. If you're paying attention, if you're focusing on what the team wants to do, good things will happen.
Foslev knocks home the other free throw. Almost thrown away by the Falcons. Now they do some chin action here. Step back, shoots the 3, young man. Just too far, missed there by Kearney. Rebound by the Falcons. They'll get a new shot clock at 20 seconds. We'll have a timeout on the next whistle. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Petritis to Brown. Now to Kearney. Tries the fade shot. That doesn't work. 4 seconds on the clock. Petritis will have to force something up. And that'll be blocked. And it'll be a shot clock violation. So not the possession that Joe Scott and his crew wanted. As we go to break, Air Force down by 16 to the Aggies. Utah State up by 16 over the Air Force Falcons with 7:40 remaining, and Utah State doing a great job in the painted area, outscoring the Falcons 18-10 in there, and one of the main reasons why is because of number 1, Katie.
Osobor has just been putting in work in the paint. That is his home. It's where he feels most comfortable. You can tell by watching him play a perfect 6 of 6 from the field, and part of that is because all of his shots have been right around the basket, whether they've been dunks or layups or putbacks. Osobor has just been making his name known inside early in this game.
So as we come out the break, again, you're looking at Joe Scott. He's just trying to get something going with his offense. Just 6 of 16 on the floor, 38%. And again, your second leading scorer, Ethan Taylor, hasn't scored yet. Your leading scorer in the game so far for Air Force only has 6 points. So you're going to need some diverse scoring right now. And got to have your stars be able to pick things up as that floater is no good. It's off the body of the Falcons. It's there by Javon Jackson. But look at Ethan Taylor. He's a guy who plays pretty much the whole game, 39.1 minutes a game. But we only seen him take 1 shot today. What are you seeing out there on the floor of why he's not going to shoot the ball a little bit more as the point guard?
Well, part of that is the Falcons' system, and the ball just hasn't been in his hands as the shot clock is winding down. But Taylor can get aggressive, try and get some steals on defense that can lead to easy buckets in transition. But he's just got to have more of a I'm going to be a scorer's mentality.
Jackson for 3, nothing but nets. Javon Jackson with the triple, his 9th of the year, 2nd today. And Utah State up by 19 over the Falcons. Approaching 6:55 to go in the first half. A half dominated so far by Utah State. That'll be an offensive foul on Air Force.
A little bit of movement on that screen right there as Utah State was fighting around, and it ends up in an Air Force turnover.
Talking to one of the assistant coaches earlier before the game, and one of the things they were talking about is, hey, we just wanted to get off to a better start. Haven't done so in this 3-game losing streak. And you see how this team is playing so far, where they're down by 19, saying that, hey, we pick it up in the second half, want to play better in the first half. Not well so far, as that's going to be a turnover.
Yeah, that's always tough when you have a slow start. Then you're constantly playing from behind. You're digging yourself out of a hole, and this is a pretty big hole for the Air Force Falcons to have to chip away at. But good defensive play right there from Petritis, reaching in, trying to make things difficult. And Air Force has just got to value the basketball a little bit more within their offensive possessions, work for a great shot every single time, and execute at a higher level.
Air Force with 7 turnovers in this game so far. Something that Joe Scott definitely is talking to this team about. Taylor now with it, being guarded by Osobor. Gives it to Petritis with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Air Force continuing to move on offense, see if that comes to a good shot. And at least they'll go to the line to shoot 2 on the foul by Javon Jackson.
Falcons just living at the free throw line here in this first half. That's something that Utah State, I would imagine, really wants to clean up. But again, this goes back to the offense that Air Force runs. They want to make you fall asleep defensively. They want to put you in compromising positions, so where, okay, if you guys can't guard us and you're not going to be disciplined enough to guard us for a full 30-second shot clock, we're going to take advantage of that.
You ever played an offense like this before in your playing days?
No, I did not. We were much more heavy pick and roll. Even in high school, it was like we would play some 5 out and cutting without the basketball, which is kind of similar, but it was always, when you have a great shot, take it. Whatever time within the shot clock. The patience that is required of this Falcons program is, admirable.
Petritis 1 and 2 at the free throw line. Air Force 4 of 8 from the charity stripe. And that entry pass is going to be a foul, and the home faithful, they don't like that call. Let's go and take a look at this for yourself. What do you think, Katie?
It looked like Osobor just kind of lost his footing trying to do a spin move there against Kearney. That's tough. When your feet get tangled up like that and you're looking for something to help catch your ground, I think that was an unlucky call against Air Force.
The last game for Utah State, they beat East Tennessee State, and one of the things that we saw from East Tennessee State in that game was that they double-teamed Osobor. Took him out the game early on before he was able to go and contribute and get his points from there. Maybe that might be something that Joe Scott will decide to do. Just say, hey, we got to take number 1 out for the rest of the game and have someone else beat us as you're down 19 with 6:06 to go in the first half.
Look, that's not a bad strategy at all, but I think quite a few of the Osobor's points so far have come from rebounding situations. And so, okay, can you execute your one-on-one game plan to a higher level before you try and change some things up? I think the Falcons can do that against Osobor.
Osobor splits his 2 free throws. Leads the way with 17 points. How about this? Air Force has 19 points. Osobor almost has as many points as the Falcons do so far in this game. That could change right here. Blowing the layup, though, is Luke Kearney. And we'll have, is that a foul or is that a timeout? This will be a timeout, and with that, we will step aside. Air Force Utah State doubling up Air Force up by 19 with 3:53 to go. .38-19 is our score. 3:53 remaining in the first half. Justin Adams, Katie Ritchie here with you at Cleveland Arena. Foul trouble starting to pick up for the Air Force Falcons. Bo Becker, he'll be back in this game. He has 3 fouls, and Luke Kearney, the freshman, he has 4 fouls. He's only played 5 minutes in this game.
Yeah, Air Force is going to have to make some adjustments here in terms of, and a lot of that too, again, is Osobor and just how much pressure he puts on a defense.
I'm looking at the body language right now of Air Force. There's a lot of long faces out there. Looks like they're really laboring out there.
Yes, they look like they know they have their work cut out, but there is a deflated energy about them as they're waiting for Osobor to set up to the free throw line.
Osobor being deflated is the last thing this young man has done. How about this? 17 points, perfect from the floor at 7 and 7. The only thing he hasn't done well today, he's been at the free throw line as he knocks that one down. He's now 4 of 7 at the charity stripe.
That's an area that I'm sure he knows he can improve upon too. He's a 64% free throw shooter, and with as big of a body as he is, as physical as he is, he's going to get to the free throw line.
Talked a little bit about him earlier as what prospects he will have possibly of going pro. For what you see on the daily, when you go and see a young man like this who has 19 points right now, where do you see him so far? NBA-wise, G League, where do you see him possibly going?
Well, I think first and foremost, he does need to mature a little bit more in terms of the way that he reacts and carries himself when he doesn't have the basketball in his hands, how active he is defensively, the energy that he brings on the floor. But I think, too, as the shot clock expires right there, nice bucket for Air Force. Runs the floor well. He knows he can get easy baskets. I love how confident he is in his own game. So how will that transfer to an NBA level when everybody's the same size as him? That would be interesting to see.
Well, anytime you get easy rebounds like that and putbacks, you look good, especially at the Mountain West. 21 points for Osobor. His first miss from the floor today, by the way. 42-21. Falcons down by a bunch. Boylan just scored a couple moments ago, goes back to the well, and this will be knocked out of bounds. Khalifa Sacco with the defense. And take a look at Boylan. Second time that he goes to his right hand, and it was actually like it was knocked away before he was able to go get to the cup.
Bobbled the basketball a little bit there. Good active defense from Utah State.
Something that they do a lot, right? Forcing steals, active hands, and on offense, always moving the ball around. As Petrides forces up a long jumper that grazes the rim. Rebound Utah State. Up by 21, looking for more. Bo Becker guarding Osobor with 3 fouls. Swings through Osobor. Euro step off the window, no good. Rebounded by Taylor.
Pretty good cover up there from the Air Force Falcons on that drive.
Boylan. And we're going to have a timeout as Air Force will want to go and talk things over. Joe Scott has seen enough and just trying to get this under 20 points before halftime.
And this feels like a timeout to kind of regroup and say, okay, there's 2 minutes left of this first half. What do we want to do here? How do we want to close out this first half?
Falcons with only 7 made field goals in the first half. Haven't made a shot from downtown. We're talking about a team that hit 15 three-pointers in their last game against Northern Colorado. So obviously we know the three-point line is one place you got to go and do well in, especially if you want to come back in a game like this. Coming out of this break, what's a good shot for the Falcons right now?
Well, if you're looking from the three-point line, I think one good option there is transition threes, which means you got to play really good defense. You have to secure the defensive rebound and get out and run, but you also have to set really great screens or dribble, penetrate, get inside, and get kickouts to your teammates. So 3 different options there to get better three-point looks, but right now Utah State's defense is doing a good job of not letting the Falcons get to where they want to be offensively.
Byron Brown in the game, and Bo Becker is out. Remember, Bo Becker has 3 fouls, so he's going to sit for a while. And it's one of your main three-point shooters if you are the Falcons. See what Brown can do. This young man, not really a three-point shooter, 2 of 12 from deep as the take, and it's going to be a foul as Boylan with the right hand. He's found something there. Go to the line and shoot 2.
You love the aggressive drive right here, and earlier you talked about bracing for that contact when you go up, and I mean that's a tough call. It looks like a pretty clean block, but body to body there was a little bit of contact.
Okay, there it is. Because I was wondering where that foul was. The first one is good for Boylan, and Boylan, he has now 8 points. Just look at the leading scorers in this game for Air Force. Ethan Taylor, second on the team in scoring. He only has 2. And Ritas Petrides, he has 7, so he's holding up his end of the bargain. Boylan now with 9 points. 42-23. Under 2 minutes to go. And a well-played first half by Utah State in the conference opener. Utah State picked to finish 9th in the Mountain West. Team that finished 3rd last year was able to get to the NCAA tournament. Lost in the first round to Missouri. 5 seconds on the clock. Brown sees it. He drives the floater. Too strong. And sky high to get the rebound. How about that? What can Brown do for you? He can rip a rebound.
You got to be scrappy if you're the Falcons. You're undersized right now, especially on the glass.
Brown with it, looking for some help. Gives it to Petritus, who wants to drive. And almost has that stripped away. Taylor, he'll shoot the long three. Knocks it down from Pueblo. The first three-point bucket of the day for the Falcons is a big one. Makes it 42-26 with $1:11 to go in the first half.
And earlier we were talking about how do the Falcons get good three-point looks. That's Petritus right there, driving inside, kicking it out to Ethan Taylor, down, ready to shoot. You see Taylor kind of shaking his head as he walks over to the Air Force bench. Hasn't been a typical Ethan Taylor game.
No,
so how do you get him going? He finally gets a shot to go in, and he's kind of breathing a sigh of relief.
You know who else is breathing a sigh of relief? That little baby right there. Enjoying herself.
What
Look
a
at that
happy
baby.
babe.
Huh? I got 2 babies at home, by the way.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
One's potty trained, one's not.
That sounds like a fun journey.
That is, it's something.
You're halfway there. You're halfway there.
home,
Yep.
literally. It's a whole lot of fun. Justin Adams, Katie Wingy with you at Clune Arena. Air Force down by as much as 21 points on a short 5-0 run. Look to get a little bit of momentum going into halftime. Maybe something positive that you can see really from Air Force. Again, you just knocked down a 3-point shot. You're starting to feel good about yourself. Now come out in the full court press, see if you can force the turnover. If nothing else, get a stop on this possession.
And, you know, you head into the locker room then with a couple possessions, both defensively and offensively, where you know what it takes to be successful. You can repeat that in the second half.
Ball moving around the perimeter, trying to get it inside to Osibor. He now has it. And beautiful pass by Osibor, but it's stripped away off the leg and out of bounds. Nigel Burris.
With the Falcons being in that switching matchup zone a little bit, you have to make sure you're communicating cutters there. The Falcons kind of caught a break.
Now 2-for-1 opportunity for Air Force if they want it. Got to get the shot up quickly. And I wouldn't force anything now. Just get a quality shot. And had a good pass. Back to Taylor for 3. Just short. Brown with the rebound, and it's going to be stolen away. Aggies with it, and they'll settle things down. And they'll go to settle in for the last shot of the first half.
Love the multiple effort there from the Air Force Falcons, getting good look after good look.
Darius Brown has had 7 or more assists in 10 of the 13 games this season. This young man already has 5. Air Force needing a huge stop here, down by 16. Jackson with it, head fake. Stops, goes in the corner, off the foot, and out of bounds, and Air Force will have the final shot of the first half.
A couple really good defensive possessions from the Falcons, doing the little things, getting deflections, being in the lanes, talking through some of the switching scenarios they've had.
Kicks it off to Taylor. Taylor, 2 seconds, 1 second, shoots it at the horn. It's good! Ethan Taylor! The only 2 field goals he hit in the first half were dagger 3-pointers. Back-to-back triples makes this a 13-point game as we go to break.
Taylor coming alive for Air Force as the time expires. Down, ready to launch. Beautiful. Beautiful for the Falcons heading into the locker room.
And breathe some life into Clune Arena. Much needed. Falcons down 13. See that one. Mills couldn't get that one to fall. Aggies up by 15. Foslev with the drive on the baseline. Loses the handle briefly, still has it. Steps through, shoots the floater, and good.
Your defense changes when you have to defend without fouling and have that mindset like Bo Becker has to have right now. Can't be nearly as aggressive.
Mason Foslev, he now has 6. Make that actually 8 points that he has. Boylan to Taylor. Mills with it. Backing his way down, looking for some help. He'll shoot the same fadeaway and gets the same result.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep going to it if you're Mills.
How about this? Mills with 7 points. Keeping this game somewhat close. Air Force just hovering around, looking for an opportunity. Also bore with it, being guarded against Becker.
Wow.
He'll step through and miss that one. And here comes Taylor with it. A little bit surprised. Might have been an offensive foul there potentially. Skip pass and thought about the 3, didn't take it. For some reason, Mills didn't. Now he'll get it back. Shoots it up. A lot of contact, no foul. And the lay-in, no good by Boylan. And here comes Utah State. 2-on-1 opportunity for them, and they'll slow things down. Brown now spins with a drive to the cup and in.
The help side rotation's got to be there earlier for the Falcons, but anytime there's a straight line drive, difficult for your defense to recover.
First 2 points of the day for Brown, 17-point lead for Utah State. Becker to Taylor. Somebody has to be the scorer here, and we'll have a foul. The foul will be on Brown. And for Brown, that will be his first personal foul, team first, and we will step aside. Everything going the way of Utah State. They lead by 17. Joe Scott and the rest of the Falcons have their work cut out for them as they're down by 17 with 15:29 remaining in the ball game. And one of the biggest things that's not going right for the Falcons right now, Katie, is just what they're doing from behind the arc. 2 of 12 for the three-point line.
That's 17% for those who need a little help doing math at home. And this is an Air Force Falcons team that typically shoots 36% from the three-point line. They've only made 2 today. They usually average 9 three-point makes a game. The shots just haven't been falling. Credit Utah State for putting pressure on Air Force and making them do something different, but you got to knock shots down from deep, especially when you're a team that struggles to score overall. The shooting percentage for Air Force and just in general hasn't been good this game.
Ethan Taylor with the 2 made three-pointers. One of them was right before half, made a triple pretty much near half court as time expired in the first half. So it's been a tough shooting day so far for Air Force. Still plenty of time. Have to get something rolling now. The freshman giving it up. Now to Taylor, spinning in. 4 seconds on the clock, shoots 1, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
That's what you need from Ethan Taylor, especially as that shot clock is winding down. Get the basketball in his hands and let him go to work at the top of the key. Some fancy footwork inside the paint there, ends up drawing the foul, and now's an opportunity to, once again, see the ball go through the hoop, get some of that momentum back.
Foul on Brown, that'll be his second personal foul. Also the team second. Ethan Taylor able to knock the first one home. Taylor, junior from Houston, Texas, shoots 76% from the free throw stripe and knocks both home. That's a good stroke as well.
Smooth.
Yeah, very
smooth.
Yeah. But Taylor now with 9 points. Falcons would love to see him get some more shots up at the cup. Plays almost the entire game. Rarely does he go out. Duge for 3. Yes. Aggie's able to go and track down the rebound. Here's another opportunity. And that spins in and out. And another rebound by Utah State.
This is happening without Great Osibor on the floor as well.
Taking a little bit of a break, skip pass. How about 3 times the charm? Nope, that's too short.
Falcons get lucky right there. They have to make sure they're turning and looking, matching up, going to find a body on those boards.
Also may need to go and push the play a little bit as Kearney has it. Looking for some help. He'll go to work now in the paint. Spins his way down. Head fake. Kicks it out. Maybe if he was a little more patient, might have had a shot there. Petritis with it. He'll drive down the lane. Thought about dunking it. Said, how about just laying home off the window?
Beautiful attack from Petritis right there and poised as he was hanging in the air.
Don't look now. It's a 13-point game. If you get a stop here, it'll be a foul. And you get a stop. Make it interesting. An 11-point game. You just never know as you're at 14 minutes to go in this one. And number 1 comes back in. Great Osibor back into this ball game. Also checking in for Utah State will be Javon Jackson. Looking at the foul situation for Air Force. Kearney is playing with 4 fouls, and Bo Becker, he has 4 fouls as well. Only 2 points. As the ball's going to be stripped away by Rytis Petritis, and Petritis will get fouled near midcourt.
Those little hustle plays, that's part of what Rytis Petritis does for this Falcons team. Takes advantage of an opportunity right there, getting a steal, digging in, and then when he starts to get off and running, draws the foul.
Foul on Jackson, that's his second personal foul. Also the 3rd team foul on Utah State. And for some reason, the referees are holding up the game.
It's a clock issue, I believe.
Okay, so should be 29 seconds on the clock. There you go. It's all about those digits, right?
Every second matters.
It's like a football, right? A game of inches.
Yes.
Oh, I wonder whoever came up with that, by the way. That was a game of yards.
Should have trademarked it.
Everything's being trademarked these days, aren't they? Kearney with the take. He'll get the foul and one. How about the freshman showing up? In his 4th game he's played this season, he'll go to the line for a big and one opportunity.
What a beautiful cut from Kearney right there. As Ethan Taylor was down on the block, trying to make a move himself. That's, I mean, heads up play to recognize I can't stand on the outside when my teammate is down low trying to post up. I'm going to cut around him, try and give myself up for a good play.
Chipping at this lead. It's now a 10-point lead for Utah State. And the home faithful here at Clune Arena starting to make some noise. Big possession here to great Osabor. Yeah, he's fouled on that one. Fronting him was Jeffrey Mills. Tried to leap up and get the entry pass. Couldn't do so. Had to go get a foul. The foul will be on Kellen Boylan.
That's a tough call for the Falcons because Boylan was on the back side trying to anticipate that steal. It's a tough angle for us sitting courtside right here to see it, but it looks like it was pretty clean.
Well, Osabor able to knock home the first one. And you just kind of felt the momentum start to shift. If you could get a stop there, you never know. But Osabor knocks home both free throws. As Utah State up by a dozen again. Osabor, by the way, 28 points again. His career high is 31. So we'll keep an eye on that one. For Falcons faithful, hopefully he'll stay right there. As Kearney thought about the three. 60 seconds on the shot clock, and that's stolen away. Stolen away by Ian Martinez, and he'll slam it home with the right hand.
When you're trying to claw your way, chip your way back into a game like Air Force is, you can't have those mental errors like that and make a pass right into the passing lane for Utah State to get it.
Would you say that's overpassing a little bit on that last possession? Not so too sure about who's going to get the ball and attack?
Well, that's part of what Air Force does. I would say a lot of their offensive possessions they overpass, but sometimes it does end in a really great shot.
Petrides missed that one. 4-0 run briefly by Utah State. Osabor back in, and he'll go to the line as he's fouled on the play. And raising his right hand is Ethan Taylor. But you look at this game, it was a 10-point lead for Utah State, and then Osabor gets the ball, goes to the free throw line to shoot two. And then you go get another shot, back down, and now he'll get another opportunity at the free throw line. That
was Ethan Taylor trying to convince the referees that foul was on him instead of on Boylan, because that's Boylan's 3rd personal foul. And Taylor was, tapping his chest saying, that was me, I got him. Right. Referee did not change his mind. He stuck with Boylan. So when you have a defense and a player, really like Osabor is, and a Falcons defense that's trying to collapse like that, you really do have to be strategic about the way in which you're making things difficult for Osabor.
Another freshman comes into the game as Osabor misses the next free throw. As Kobe Gill coming to the game. Kobe Gill, this will be his 9th game he played this season. Like this freshman a lot. But again, it's just a lot of youth in this roster. It's for the first time since 1987. The Air Force doesn't have a senior on the roster. As Petrides takes it up, missed it, was on the floor, got his own rebound briefly, but here comes the Aggies with it. In transition, Osabor with the jam.
He just looks like he wants to hurt the rim when he goes up to dunk it. Like, destroy mode.
Well, Mr. Destroy Mode has tied his career high with 31 points with that jam. Utah State up by 16. Big possession here for Air Force as Boylan has that one, goes off the side of the backboard. Knocked out of bounds by Utah State, and Air Force will have the ball when we return. But it's all about the Aggies so far, and number 1, Osabor with the jam. 16-point lead for Utah State. They have led this game from end to end. At one point, Air Force had this game down to 10, and then Osabor came into the game, and it changed yet again.
Well, he's having a performance like his name. Great Osabor. That's what he's doing. He is putting greatness on the floor, and everything seems like it comes so easy to him. He does his work early. He's a physical player, obviously a big body, but you watch these highlights, and almost every one of them is in the restricted area, and he's just able to lay it in or dunk it home.
Great Osabor, 11 of 14 from the floor, 9 of 14 from the free throw line. He also has 8 rebounds and 2 assists. We call that a stocking stuffer.
I love it.
And we'll have a foul on the inbound pass. Looks like that'll be on Utah State. That'll be their 4th team foul. Make that actually their 5th team foul. As the foul be on Martinez, that's his 3rd. So we'll do it yet again. Boylan has it. Almost stripped away, kicks it out. Kearney, the freshman for 3. Shot that with a lot of confidence, and over the back will be a foul on Kobe Jill.
I love the intent in which Jill went in to try and grab that offensive rebound. That's just one of those unlucky foul calls which you take in a game like this.
Katie, what's the challenge that Joe Scott has when you're coaching so many freshmen and sophomore, and you don't have that senior leadership on your roster? What's the challenge that he has to be able to build up this program?
I think from a human nature standpoint, reminding yourself as the head coach that there are going to be some bumps and bruises and hiccups along the way. You're going to have to let guys play through mistakes. You just don't have the depth of a roster to be able to put in a security blanket, to be able to put in an experienced player. So you have to have a certain level of grace almost of like, look, there are going to be growing pains here. I have to understand that and utilize those moments to help them grow as quickly as possible.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Foslev with the layup. He now has 10 points, 60-42, almost halfway home here at Clune Arena. 8-0 run for Utah State. And the Falcons were able to get this lead down to 10. Seem to have all the momentum going their way. Not much going for them afterwards. Petrides with the drive and throws it away.
When Petrides is driving in the paint like that, if you're his teammate, again, this is a learning opportunity.
Yep.
You have to find the right passing angle, create an easier pass, an easier outlet for Petrides when he's driving into the paint there, because that's how you get some of those really good three-point looks that the Air Force is searching for.
Regis Petrides will come out, and then for him will be Byron Brown. Ossobor with it. Looking around, skip pass in the corner. And it'll be knocked away.
Good disruptive deflection there from Brown, stopping that pass from getting to the other Brown on the other team.
Also, want to take a look at what Danny Sprinkle is doing, the head coach of Utah State. And you talk about just impressive basketball from this team. This is a team that, I mean, Danny Sprinkle, his first year with Utah State, as Foslev spots up for 3. It's off the mark. And for him, he came into a situation you have no returning starters. You actually only have 3 returning players on your roster as a whole. Had to go through the transfer portal, pick up a couple of guys, and right now you're 12-1 and looking like you're well on your way to going to 13-1 and having a 12-game winning streak, as that layup is good, making it a 20-point advantage for Utah. Well, this is one of those games where you just want to get some momentum for the next game. See what type of things you could do from just a momentum, position, and it's going to be a turnover. Here comes Air Force with it.
And I think, too, you were asking me about Joe Scott and how you kind of approach having younger players. This is one of those scenarios where you say, what can we still get out of the final less than 9 minutes in this game? The young players can get some experience. We get some reps of them on film that we can go back and look at, and chemistry can be developed.
Also body language as well. Just, hey, how do we continue to fight through this? It's a long season, just the first conference game. How do we continue to fight through this? And especially the next game is going to be on the road. You're going up against Nevada, the team that we saw right at the beginning of this telecast that has the top record so far in the Mountain West at 13-1. So it doesn't get any easier for the Falcons, as that's an easy bucket there for Darius Brown II. He has 4 points, and Utah State up 65-42. 8 minutes remaining in this one. Well, you look at where this game got away from Air Force. Is there any point that you could point down to as a beautiful pass? And Taylor able to lay it in, and you talked about it. Hey, go and get the little things. What can we look at on film and we can at least feel good about? That's one of those plays.
And that was a great example of good execution for Air Force's offense, that Princeton offense. A great cut there.
Martinez with a strong take. He has 13. 23-point lead yet again for Utah State. Falcons lost their last 3 games, all of them close. This one definitely not a result that Joe Scott had in mind. Still a lot of time left. That's a nice move, Euro step, and off the window and good. Like that one by Byron Brown, the junior from Arizona.
Really crafty move from Brown, adjusting with the defense. Looked like he kind of had a pass right there, but no, keeps it himself. Takes it all the way in and one. Air Force trying to make some plays late in this one.
Love the kids coming out on a Tuesday afternoon to enjoy some basketball, which always makes me think, why is he not in school yet? What's going on? Should be back.
That actually is a great question, yes.
67-46 is our score. Justin Adam, Katie Wingy here with you. We talked a little bit about, before we went to break, where did this game kind of get away from the Air Force Falcons? They were down a bunch early on in this game. At one point, they were down 10. And within the first 4 to 5 minutes of this one, but you have a couple of stats that really point out some things that Joe Scott really and his crew will really want to go and improve on in practice this week.
Well, this is just an uncharacteristic Falcon game in a variety of different ways, right? Like, this is a Falcons team that typically shoots the ball a lot better from the field, 46%. They're shooting 38%. They're also only shooting 14% from three. They usually shoot 36%. But then you dig a little bit deeper and you look at some of the hustle stats that Air Force has given up. 19 points off of turnovers, 42 points in the paint to Utah State, 11 second chance point, 14 fast break points scored. So, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but their defense, the Falcons defense, really wasn't stopping Utah State in any way, shape, or form in this game.
And another part too is in the first half you had Utah State in foul trouble. Early on, with about 11 minutes to go in the first half, you had this team where you had a one-on-one opportunity and you weren't able to connect on your free throw. So that's a missed opportunity for the Air Force, as Jackson will knock home the first free throw on this 1-and-1. By the way, Air Force has 18 fouls, and the foul was on Mills, which is his second. Jackson misses the second. And Utah State with the rebound. Foslev with it. And he's going to put a young man on a poster.
Wow. The intent right there. Hunting a poster opportunity.
Yeah, Foslev has those bunnies, and he almost going to make a highlight right there. By the way, was looking at Foslev, and you do your research and everything, and ran across some of his YouTube videos from high school. Brother, woo, man.
What impressed you?
Windmill dunks, one-handed slams.
Get up. Okay.
He can get up.
Sure.
But it's just his first step was quick. Mm-hmm. All the time was quick. Very technical within his moves, and he had no problem dunking on anybody who was around him.
Clearly, we just saw an example of what could have been.
69-47 is our score. Under 7 minutes to go. Bo Becker, only 2 points. Dealing with foul trouble the majority of the day. And that'll be a foul on Jackson. Look at the entry pass to go into Jeffrey Mills.
That's got to be a bounce pass if you're Brown, and Mills has that downside. This is a much better angle. It's easier for Mills to go and get it.
So again, those are small things, right, that you can continue to teach and to say, hey, this is a bounce pass, rather than you go in and try to toss it up in the air. And you don't have to worry about a player trying to jump and catch the ball. Now he goes to get the bounce pass, and he's already in position when he gets the ball.
Exactly.
1-and-1, and that rolls out. Missed by Jeffrey Mills. Air Force been struggling from the free throw line. Now 13-20 from the charity stripe. Foslev with it with 13 points. Air Force could be playing in the zone right now.
Mills just battling with Osibor this possession.
And here's Foslev, and he'll get the easy take and the layup.
And that is one of the benefits of having a player like Osibor inside, because so much of your defensive attention has to be focused on him. You're hesitant to go and help.
Defensively, I mean, Air Force went to a zone there, gave up a layup. Is there anything else you could do? Or?
Well, the zone needs to be better executed, because you can't stick on your man in the zone. You're guarding a space.
With the steal, Jackson with the layup. That'll be no good, and Boylan will pick up the foul, and that'll be his fifth. So Keelan Boylan will be done for the day. 11 points, 3 rebounds, also an assist. And that'll be his fifth foul of the afternoon on the take by Utah State. So Javon Jackson will go to the free throw line for 2 shots from there. 71-47 is our score. At one point, this was just a 10-point game. About 5 minutes ago, actually. And since then, Utah State put their foot to the accelerator and ballooned this lead to 25, where it stands right now.
Well, and Utah State, too, averaging 81 points per game.
Yeah.
So this feels like it has their identity, their fingerprints written all over it.
A little bit surprising, too, for Air Force. They're a team that's really good defensively. They came into this game not giving up much from the floor, only allowing 65 points a game. Utah State, like you say, they average 81 points. This is definitely a game that they would like to play. Petritis with it, spinning, trying to get some momentum, gets it off the window.
And there was that bounce pass that we wanted to see. Mills bouncing it into Petritis. It allows Petritis to go straight into his move, feel the defender on his back, and counter.
By the way, Utah State, this season, they are 10-0 when they score 70 points or more. They have 72. Ossobor with it. Has a career high today, 32 points. Foslev with it. Good defense. Back to Ossobor with 5 seconds on the clock. Up against Ethan Taylor. 4 seconds. Foslev shoots a long three and knocks it home. Mason Foslev with 18 points. Utah State up 26.
Ossobor with a little handoff there. Defense late to recover.
Kobe Jill to Brown. As Ethan Taylor with it. Taylor sitting on 12 points, leading the way for the Falcons today. 10 seconds on the clock. Jill looking for some help. Mills now has it. Drives with his right hand. And shoots it. No good. He'll be shooting free throws.
Good awareness of the shot clock by Mills there, recognizing he has the ball on the top of the key. I got to make a play. So he drives right in. Ends up getting fouled there, too. Anticipating that contact, still gives himself a chance to have an and one opportunity, even though he missed.
At the free throw line is Jeffrey Mills, the junior from Flower Mound, Texas. Looking on the bench right now, Bo Becker. Don't think that he will step back on the court for the rest of this game. And Becker, with his 4 fouls, only has 2 points. But when you look at a guy like Bo Becker and the way that he's able to score, you had one game, his last game he played, 26 points, 6 of 9 from downtown, now held to only 2. But what do you do if you're Joe Scott to build up his confidence for the next game?
Well, the foul trouble is definitely a factor in what we saw from Becker today. Just in terms of like getting taken out early, being out of your rotation, have to think a little bit differently when you're playing. And so maybe you're not as aggressive offensively. You don't want to have anybody draw a charge against you. But with Becker, he's got to be ready to shoot from the three-point line. He's a 42% three-point shooter. Like that is, and he's so tall and long, he can shoot over pretty much anybody. And so he's got to be really active in looking for those opportunities.
Beautiful pass and lay-in, and Byron Brown gets that to go. He now has 5. Utah State still up comfortably. Under 4 minutes to go. Aggies last year were able to go against the NCAA tournament. Lost in the first round. Team looking to do so again, and a foul will be on the floor. As Ian Martinez trying to take it to the rim. That will be the 10th team foul on Air Force, so the Aggies will be shooting free throws, but everything going in Utah State. Utah State 3 minutes and 36 seconds away from winning their 12th straight game of the year. They're up 77-53 over the Air Force Falcons. Let's see what the Falcons have to do, and here's the schedule that they have. And Katie, what are some games that really pique your interest when you look at them?
Well, Colorado State obviously is an interesting game. Colorado State's been playing so well to start this season. I mean, Mountain West is just competitive in general. Any Mountain West game typically is going to be a good battle and a tough test. So I am more privy to look at Colorado on Colorado action. So that's one I've got circled on my calendar.
My wife is a New Mexico Lobo. So
there you go.
Apparently everyone is a Lobo, which is always weird when she says that, because I'm a Buff, right? And you are
a Redbird.
A Redbird, right? So that proves that everyone is not a Lobo. But New Mexico, that's one of the games that Air Force will play. That'll be on January 20th. And just again, the way that you have to look at this game, if you're Joe Scott, is you have to say, hey, look, you pick out the positives. Obviously, you go and say, hey, there's plenty that we need to improve on. But you do pick out the positives of this one in order to move forward when you take on Nevada.
And recognize how good this Utah State team has started this season. They've won 11 games in a row. They've figured some things out in terms of how they get wins. What can Air Force learn from that? What can the Falcons take from that? And how can they look at the little spurts where they did do things well in this game and replicate that to an even higher degree?
In this offense, at what places would you like to see a player like Ethan Taylor, for example, go and get his own shot and take over?
When the shot clock is winding down, for sure, crashing the glass like you just saw him get in there. I think anytime you can have activity off the basketball too, cutting away, getting screens set for him. Part of it is his teammates recognizing Ethan Taylor is a great scorer.
Right.
How can I get him the ball in positions where he can be successful? How can I set a great screen for him? How can I go and set a ball screen so he can come off of it? Those little things will make a big difference.
Mills with the lay-in. He has 11 points. And for Air Force, it's also going to be those other guys, too. It'll be the Mills, for example. Regis Petrides, for example, doesn't have as many points as he usually does. Averages 18, only has 11 today. Will it be Brown who will be stepping up? It will always look to be somebody else. And holy cow, how about that dunk? Khalifa Sacco with the dunk. Woo.
Little putback with some power right there.
6'11", 220 from France. Makes me think, what are those guys eating in France?
Snails, what are you, croissants?
Exactly.
Crepes?
Hey, if it makes you taller, go do what you got to do. 2:15 remaining. Petrides, beautiful pass. And lay in by Regis Petrides, who has 13. Down the stretch with 2 minutes to go here at Clune Arena. That'll be a foul. Sacco will shoot free throws.
There is not a single Air Force Falcon, I don't think. Maybe some of the guys that don't play as much, but the main guys that have scored even their average in terms of point totals. I mean, you mentioned Ethan Taylor, 18 points a game. Bo Becker, 16 points a game. Petrides, 18 points a game. I know he hasn't played in all the games, but still, those are your high-producing, your high-volume scorers. And Utah State has done a good job of trying to make someone else make plays for Air Force.
Well, one of the main things, too, is that as Ethan Taylor will come out as well as Chase Beasley, is that you were able to go and get the stars for Air Force really out of the game early. You wanted to force the other guys to be able to score. And Air Force at their best have a three-headed monster. You look at Bo Becker, Ethan Taylor, Regis Petrides. Those guys aren't scoring, or those guys really aren't into the game early on. It makes it very difficult for this team to be able to win. But the future is bright here at Air Force. Kobe Jill, for example. And Brady Ruggles in the game now. Brady Ruggles rather has played in 3 games this season. Petrides looking for some help. Chin action. Ruggles swings over. Beautiful pass. And Petrides with the lay-in.
That same play has worked a couple times for the Air Force Falcons late in this game. Good execution, sticking with the game plan despite being down the way they are.
Under 90 seconds to go here. And Sacco, the Frenchman, will go to the line yet again. The foul be on Kobe Jill.
I've been so impressed with the international talent.
I have,
at
yes.
both the NBA level and the college level. You're seeing it kind of start to trickle down, and the scouting that's happening overseas really start to take place within universities now as well.
After this free throw, Caleb Walker will come in, and this will be the first time the freshman has played this season, as Regis Petrides will exit for the day. And Kobe Jill, I believe, will come out too, and yes, he will. So coming in for him will be Chase Beasley. Let's go on the other side with Utah State. Utah State will win their 12th game in a row. They will improve to 13-1. Obviously winning their first game in Mountain West play. Where can this team be? Obviously, you have the Colorado States of the world. You also have Wyoming. You have several other different teams. Nevada, right? They're 13-1 as well. Where can we see Utah State, a team that was picked to finish 9th Where can it be in the Mountain West as conference play continues on?
Well, I'm interested to see how Utah State plays against some better teams in the Mountain West, because taking a look at just kind of their strength of schedule earlier this season, I think it was probably pretty strategic in terms of we want to play against some teams that aren't as good to build our confidence, to try and figure ourselves out a little bit more, as you see Utah State getting inside right there. And coaches do that. Joe Scott has talked about doing that too. We want to have some non-conference play where we really feel like we can be the best version of ourselves and go against teams that maybe don't have as much experience, or go against teams that have been struggling. And you kind of look at Utah State and you say, okay, maybe that was sort of their approach in terms of teams they were playing against. How are they going to show up against a Colorado State? How are they going to show up against better teams in the Mountain West? The schedule that they've played and the win streak that they're on obviously will help with that tremendously, but it's exciting to think about what they could do. They have a lot of potential.
Well, they're going to have that potential tested in their next game when they take on Colorado State. Isaiah Stevens, the rest of the crew, as that's a foul, and I believe it's on Utah State. It is on Ian Martinez. By the way, got to give a shout out to Landon Brinkley, the sophomore. Played in only 6 games this season. Only scored 8 points coming into this game. Made a free throw. He's now scored 9 points this season.
There you go. Celebrating the little victories on some of these teams.
Free throw missed by Jeffrey Mills. But that's one of the games that I would definitely be keeping an eye on. January 6th, at home against Colorado State. Be one of those games where we really find out a lot about Utah State, a team that's currently sitting 38th in the net rating. So that'll be a huge test for them, but they passed the first test in Colorado Springs as they were able to go with a wire-to-wire victory over the Air Force Falcons. At one point, this was just a 10-point game midway in the second half, and then Utah State put their foot on the gas and was able to go and get a W from there. Martinez with the take, gets it off the window, and why not? Martinez, he'll end the day with 17 points. Final chance for Air Force. Long three is too long, and that will do it as Utah State gets the wire-to-wire victory over the Air Force Falcons. Final score, 88-60. So in the win, Utah State improves to 13-1, 1-0 in conference play. And the Air Force Falcons drop to 7-6, losers of their last 4 games. We'll wrap things up here from Clune Arena when we return.